Running your own Bitcoin node is the best way to support Bitcoin's decentralization, security, and redundancy. It also allows you to trust no one, where you can verify every rule, every transaction, and every block yourself. We have a lot to cover in this video, starting with what a Bitcoin node even is and what its job is to Bitcoin. And then we're going to get a node installed. And I'm not using any of those new fancy one-click nodes. We're doing this from scratch, from the command line, just like they did in the beginning. And then last, at the end of this video, I'm going to see if I can pull up Satoshi's secret hidden message that he embedded in the Genesis block in my own node. But before we get into any of that, thanks to UGREEN for making this video happen. We're going to be using this NAS, a network attached storage, to install my Bitcoin node on. I thought it'd be a good candidate because you want your node running 24/7, and this is running 24/7. A Bitcoin node has a few critical jobs in Bitcoin. Number one, it's a historian. It keeps the entire record of everything that's ever happened in Bitcoin saved. The entire blockchain, a whole copy of it, resides on the node. Not only does it save it, but it hosts it up for anybody else who needs a copy. So if a new node comes online on the peer-to-peer Bitcoin network, it can download an entire copy of the blockchain from an existing node. Second, it's an enforcer. It makes sure all the rules that are coded into Bitcoin are followed and none are broken. Then lastly, it hosts all of the transactions that want to be added into a Bitcoin block in its memory pool. Here, those transactions wait for a miner to come by, scoop them up, and then add them to their candidate block. When a block is successfully mined by a miner, the node verifies none of the rules were broken and everything was followed. If so, that block is added to the blockchain, the history of Bitcoin is updated, and the nodes share that new history with one another. Funny enough, Bitcoin is just a program that you can just download. You can download it on Windows and Mac and Linux, GUI, command line, whatever you'd like to do. That's ultimately all it is. And bitcoin.org has all the instructions for doing exactly that, to run your own full node right at your home. Probably the biggest thing that you need is storage. Around 1 terabyte is best right now with the continuing growth of the blockchain, because remember, you got to save an entire copy of the blockchain to host a true Bitcoin node. Other than that, a couple gigs of RAM. I mean, you could run this on a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to. And then after that, really, it's just making sure you got enough bandwidth to share the blockchain with all the other nodes that connect to you across the network. And then that initial first download of the entire blockchain can take quite a bit. So if you got any kind of caps on your bandwidth from your ISP, that might be something that you take into consideration here. But what we're going to do is install this right on this UGREEN NAS, and we're going to use Docker to do that. And if you're not familiar with Docker, it's a way for you to containerize installs where they don't affect anything else that might be happening. So I'm going to continue to store videos on this, run other applications on this, and I'm going to have the Bitcoin node running in its own little container separate from everything. So we're going to go over to container here. We're in a new container, and we're going to select an image page to download the image. And what I'm going to choose to do it in this video is Ubuntu. We're going to download the Linux operating system and get the latest one and allow that to install. It's finished downloading. We're going to go to container, new container, select Ubuntu latest, confirm. I'm just going to rename this container name so I know what it is, Ubuntu-Bitcoin. There's a few things we have to adjust before we hit confirm on creating this container. And the first is volume. What we need to do here is make sure that we link a folder path within the container to a folder path within the NAS. So if the container gets deleted, all of that data remains, and I can create a new container and use all of that data again. And the purpose of us doing this is to save one copy of the entire blockchain and be able to use that again in the future should I need to delete and recreate the container. So first thing you need to do is go into Files here, Shared Folder. You'll see Docker has created its own folder. Within there, I've already done this, but you're going to want to create a folder called Bitcoin. Back out of there, into Docker, we're going to select that NAS directory file. That is Bitcoin, hit confirm. And now Docker is asking, what file path do you want to link back with that NAS directory path? And I'll give you this cheat sheet here. The one where Bitcoin saves all of its blockchain and information within Linux is this exact file path. We're going to use /root/.bitcoin. So anything that happens in the container at that directory will save automatically to the NAS. we're going to give it read and write permissions. From there, we need to do some port mapping in the network so that the Bitcoin node can communicate out to other peers' Bitcoin nodes running on Bitcoin. And so we're going to go select the NAS port, and the one that Bitcoin uses is 8333. And then we're going to do container port is the same. So both the container and the NAS are communicating out over 8333 and allowing inbound transactions as well. And we're going to leave that TCP. Once we've done that, we're going to hit confirm and create this container. Container's created. Let's double click it. I'm going to make this full screen so we can see, and we're going to go to terminal and we're going to just confirm. And now we can get to the command line and we can start doing some fun stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is just apt update to make sure that the entirety of this Ubuntu Linux install is updated. And then the next thing we're going to do is install some things we're going to need here. We're going to just do apt install wget, which is going to allow me to download Bitcoin. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to continue. A couple other things we're going to install. I'm going to install Git, which we'll need for later in this video. Next here, apt install GNU-PG for some verification we're going to do on our install. And then we're just going to change directory to keep everything is in the temporary directory. Now we're ready to download Bitcoin. Let's go to bitcoin-core.org. I'm in their download section here where they have all the different versions of Bitcoin depending on your operating system. And we're going to go for Linux here. I'm just going to right click and the copy link address. Go back over to the command line. I'm going to use wget and then paste in that URL, and it's going to download Bitcoin. Bitcoin successfully downloaded. This next step is optional, but recommended as a way to make sure this file has not been tampered with. And we're going to follow the instructions that are on bitcoin.org for verifying your download. Let's go ahead and click on Linux. And we need to download a couple files here. We're going to download the list of cryptographic checksums. So I'm going to copy that link address, go back, do wget, paste in that link so it can download. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get the download signatures. I'm going to click that, copy link, go back and do wget and then paste that in, hit enter. With those downloaded, we've already are in the temporary folder where everything is downloaded. And we're going to run this command right here. So let's go ahead and paste that in. We'll hit enter. So what this has done is it's told me that the checksum of the actual download exists within the checksums file that I've downloaded. But next what I have to do is I have to validate that that checksums file that is verifying the downloaded file is also good and is signed by people that are Bitcoin developers that are trusted. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to go back to this website. And what I'm going to do is just download all of these signatures. This is why we needed to do Git. So I'm going to download all the signatures that exist from Bitcoin Core developers. Let's just paste this right in. It's downloading those. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go back here and I'm going to import all of the keys from the Bitcoin Core developers. Okay, so it's got all of those in there. And the next thing I need to do is now verify that the checksums file has been signed by keys from verified Bitcoin Core developers. So let's paste in this command. And what I'm looking for here is that we got good signatures reported. And you can see several of them are up here. Good signatures reported, good signatures reported. So all of that work has told me that the file that I've downloaded is trusted and has not been tampered with. So now we can actually get to installing it. Now I'm going to pick up using bitcoin.org's instructions for the Linux install. I just got to pay attention to making sure I update to the version number that I'm actually using. So the first step is to unpack that download using the tar and xzf commands here. So I'm going to go in here, tar, xzf. I'm just going to start typing Bitcoin and hit tab. It will fill out everything and I can hit enter. Okay, now to prove that that has actually happened, I can hit ls and then you're going to be able to see that I have Bitcoin 30.2 now extracted and it exists within the temporary folder. Back on bitcoin.org, I'm going to scroll down here to use this command to install Bitcoin into a certain directory. And so I'm just going to copy this over, but I do need to adjust that version number because I'm running 30.2 as of making this video. So I'm just going to open up Notepad here and let's just paste that right in. And then let's just update this to 30.2. So I can just take this whole command now and then paste it right into this terminal window. Okay, we're getting really close here. Let's see what the next step is. So we're going to jump down to doing this into the Bitcoin Core daemon since we're not using the GUI, but that is an option if you run a version of Linux with the GUI, but there's a lot of extra overhead in doing that, which is why we're using the command line in terminal. So now we just got to type in this command, bitcoin d-daemon. So let's just paste that right in here, hit enter and see what happens. It says Bitcoin Core is starting. That's great. What do we have to do next? Let's go check it out right now. Bitcoin Core is starting. So to interact with Bitcoin Core, you will need to use bitcoin-cli. Let's go ahead and, so if we type that in, what can I actually do with bitcoin-cli? Well, there's this whole helpful reference right here to all of the different things you can do with bitcoin-cli with all the commands. So let's just do this first, maybe just get blockchain info and see what's actually happening here. We're going to do bitcoin-cli, get blockchain info, and let's hit enter. And it says that it is verifying blocks. And that is exactly what we want when you look at bitcoin.org. It says that it will take several minutes for Bitcoin Core to start, during which it will display that exact following message. So let's give this a little bit before we continue. Let's see how we're doing here. Bitcoin-cli, get blockchain info, enter. Great, we got a response here. And what I'm looking for specifically is verification progress. What that is telling me is that we are 66.7% synced. That is, I have 66.7% of the entire Bitcoin blockchain currently downloaded to my NAS. And we can actually go check this out a little bit further. If you remember, we created that Bitcoin file earlier. If I go to shared folder, Docker, inside now Bitcoin, I have blocks, chain state, all this stuff that Bitcoin needs. And when I go back one level and go to properties, I can take a look at that file size of this folder is now 534 gigabytes. So keep that in mind. 66.7% of the blockchain is that amount of storage space that you will need. So I think a terabyte is a safe space for you to be in right now. There's a couple things to do while that continues to sync. And I think the one we should cover first as I go back in terminal here is making sure that this, should your NAS restart, your container restart, that the Bitcoin client also starts at login. And so in order to do that, we have to get cron. So I'm gonna do apt install cron, hit enter. And then I'm gonna type cron tab-e. Oh, and I realized I don't have an editor installed. So let me install nano here. So I'm gonna do apt install nano. All right, now we're gonna go back to cron tab-e. And now I need to write something really specific on the bottom of this file, which I'm gonna take the instructions right from bitcoin.org, and I'm gonna add this line at reboot, bitcoin d-daemon, all the way at the bottom of this file. Let's paste that in, and then we're gonna write that out. Great, now that is set so that Bitcoin will launch should this reboot. I don't have to manually launch it like I first had to. Okay, so the next thing you got to do is make sure that you are connectable for anybody that wants to connect to your node to download your history of Bitcoin. And we've already set this up within the container and within the NAS to forward port 8333. But you have to also do this through likely your modem or your router, whatever configuration you have for your home network. There's so many different variables there, so that's outside the scope of this video, but look for the instructions for port forwarding for your specific hardware. Now, once you have done that, what you want to do is go over to this website called bitnodes.io. It will automatically fill in your public IP address and then put in port 8333, and this is going to now check that your node is actually connectable from any other nodes currently running Bitcoin. Came back green, which is great. That means that my node is now fully available to share my history of Bitcoin with any other nodes on the network. Now, just because it's still syncing doesn't mean we can't start having some fun and interacting with it. So let's see if we can find the Genesis block, the first Bitcoin block, and decode Satoshi's secret hidden message. There's one tool we're going to need to help us in this, and that is Vim comments. We're going to do apt install Vim comment, and what this is going to do is allow us to translate the hexadecimal format that Bitcoin uses to the binary format that we can read. With that installed, we can go find the Genesis block. So I'm going to use bitcoin-cli get block hash 0. Why 0? Because that is block 0. So you need to get the hash of that block before we can continue. There it is. Okay, so we got the hash of the Genesis blocks. Now we need to break down that block and get all the information within it. So we're going to do bitcoin-cli get block. I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to put the number 2 after it so I can get the full breakdown of all of the transaction data within this block. There it is. You're looking at history right here. You can see the value of the 50 Bitcoin in the Genesis block. But we're going to go through here and we're going to look for something special. And that is going to be the Coinbase transaction. So we're going to copy that. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to type echo. We're going to paste in that hash. And now I'm going to call on Vim comment to help us out a little bit. So I'm going to send that to xxd-p-r semicolon echo and hit enter. But what you now see is the message that Satoshi Nakamoto put forever into the first Bitcoin block, the Genesis block. The times, 3rd of January, 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Wow, we covered so much in this video, from learning about nodes and what they do and why they're important to Bitcoin, to setting up my own node from complete scratch on the NAS right here, to pulling history right out of that node and seeing Satoshi's message for all of us at the dawn of Bitcoin. I hope that you learned something, had some fun. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments section. If you want to get started contributing more to Bitcoin, you can actually mine Bitcoin right in your home. And I'll leave a video on the screen right here for one of my favorite at-home Bitcoin miners. And if you're looking for the best place to buy Bitcoin with no fees, I'm going to leave a link to that video on the screen right here, as well as actually what I do. Please take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you in one of those videos.